Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality of the best hair. And I've been getting a lot of constant requests for this King of the Monsters thing, but see, the problem with that is I already reviewed Reigo, King of the Sea Monsters. But that does leave its sequel, Ryga, God of the Monsters. God's better than King, right? Either way, this film, originally titled Shinkaiju Raiga, is another work from writer-director Shinpei Hayashiya. You know, the Gamera 4 Truth guy. That particular Gamera movie that I'm probably never going to review because most likely I'm never even going to see it within my lifetime. Damn thing's harder to find than a giant lizard hiding in a shallow bay. Either way, we do have Raiga here, a sort of loose sequel to Reigo. It does take place in the same universe, but with a whole new cast of characters and many, many years later in Japan. The story goes that everything was perfectly normal. Then an enormous monster appeared and began stomping the city to the ground. So it's a kaiju flick. Anyway, let's take a look at Raiga, God of the Monsters, and see how it stacks up. We begin on a dark and stormy night in the Sea of Japan. We see a whole dang school of bonefish and an enormous beast beneath the waves. So much for waiting until the 40-minute mark to reveal the monster, I suppose. But one huge fish immediately does battle with Raiga. The energy of their fight is enough to bring lightning down around them, striking a random ship that just so happens to be in the background. I'm all for starting strong, but I don't think you're supposed to open with the movie's climax. And no, we don't suddenly jump 3 weeks earlier or anything like that. We just continue on that dark and stormy night in the Sea of Japan. Seems a couple of fishermen are out, and they are remarking about all that weird stuff going on in the sea as of late. Half-eaten whales and what have you.
見たこともないような相当すごい化け物があるって。
Well, it's not like the man doesn't realize he's in Japan. Furthermore, all they've managed to fish up are these weird-ass bonefish who are still alive and attack the fishermen! And the body count has started. Either from the bonefish massacre or the sailboat's surprisingly effective self-destruct mechanism. Moving on to human characters who might survive more than 5 minutes into this movie, we're introduced yet again to Yukijiro Hotaru! This time he plays Hajime, a widower and father of 3 girls. From left to right we have Akari, played by Manami Inosawa, Matsuri, played by Miyu Oriyama, and Hibari, played by Mao Ueta.
何言ってんだよ。俺はちっともやましいことなんかないよ。いつだって母ちゃんが俺のそばについてるからね。
And there's this little subplot of his daughters not wanting him to go off and find another woman just because their mother happens to be dead. And considering they're introducing us to this point right away, you can guess how this movie goes. Hajime is also involved with this town's festivals, and they're trying to figure out who among them should be the treasurer for next year's festivities. Obviously, this means Hajime.
ちょっと待てよ、おい。去年だって俺やってさ、最後の決算の時に何万買わなくて大変だったんだから、勘弁してくれよ、もう人の苦労も。
Don't worry about it. Just more opportunities for comic hilarity, like, whoopsie, now where did that 100,000 yen run off to? Guess I gotta sell another kidney. More importantly than doing their job well, though, is that nobody else wants to bother with that responsibility, and if they all agree Hajime is the best for the job, they can finish this meeting and take a break from work for the time being. While this is going on... She's just playing very nicely, but I don't know why, really. I feel like I'm there in the room, just sitting there awkwardly and hoping nobody looks at me or asks me anything. Anyway, Hajime hangs out that evening with Hanji Yangayiya and Tokimatsu Sanyute. That's what I got from the credits and the best I have to work with here. The pain of balancing the budget is eased when Hanji suggests hot sake, but then lightning begins to strike as something weird is afoot. It seems Japan's top scientists have been studying the bonefish, long thought extinct, but somehow still alive! Unlike our scientist friend here, I feel like half of Japanese monster movies is about the sushi finally getting revenge. But even worse, Hajime is out with some hot young woman! And the body count rises. Oh, goddamn, Japan has nothing to worry about when Reiga shows up, considering this is the level of superpowers your average teenage girl has. And Reiga is still coming. Just slowly. Gotta blow up every ship along the way in order to make a proper kaiju entrance. However, this gets the attention of the Taito Defense Force, who immediately suspect a kaiju attacker is responsible for the ship explosions. Now, the first order of business is to evacuate everyone to the Tokyo Dome if the beast comes ashore. But what if the creature begins destroying the place? Well, that's where your badass military types come in, led by Commander Kito, played by Makoto Inamiya. He says, "Send in the tanks."
その時間は渋滞が激しい。現場に戦車大隊派遣するには時間がかかるぞ。
God damn it! I told you we should have finished research and development for the mecha battle suits with jetpacks! Best they can do under such short notice are those boring fighter jets, but they'll do. However, they are also more noticeable, flying around all low, but that's not all Hajime notices that night. Okay, so the enormous movie monster has just taken an enormous shit. I think it's safe to say that this movie's a little bit more tongue-in-cheek than Reigo was. The beast's bowels evacuated, it's time for the population of the prefecture to follow suit as the guy in the suit begins stomping about the city, smashing buildings, and crushing unsuspecting pedestrians underfoot. So the defense force must strategize.
何それ
落下したオブジェです。
うんこでしょうんこでしょ
Hey, I was already on Twitter calculating how much energy you can extract out of Godzilla P. I'm pretty sure, if you think about it, we can weaponize Ryga turds. Noting where the monster came ashore, they send in the jets to take it down. And I think it goes without saying that these aren't the most convincing visual effects around, but hey, it's still fun for the genre. But once they knock Ryga down, they discover the beast has lightning powers, shaking off the attack and continuing its rampage. Stupid Americans thinking that any giant monster stomping around has to be Godzilla. I will have you know that the history of kaiju films is far more varied and confusing. Oh well, the city's evacuated anyway, so far as they know, so they move on from Vulcan cannons to missile attacks, blowing everything the fuck up. And somehow, by the end of it all, the city aflame, the buildings annihilated, they bring Ryga to its knees and bombard it with ass tons of explosions.
怪獣ってのは意外に弱いもんですな。
I'll say we're only a half hour into the movie. So they saved the city! Ish. And we suddenly jump ahead 2 months to see that Hajime has wasted no time capitalizing on the attack. There's nothing Japan likes more than giant monster merch, and by Godzilla, he's gonna cash in on that! Naming the beast Raiga and selling t-shirts for only 2,000 yen. By the end of the day...
なんと新記録21万5,000
I see more translation that is accurate enough, but then again, earlier they referred to 2,000 yen as $25, so I have no idea how much money they made. Point is, after such a profitable day, his daughters/co-workers would like to go out to eat and get at least a semi-reasonable cut of the earnings. You might have noticed something here. Pacing the movie has come to a screeching halt. I don't know if this is really the fault of the film, though, or the not entirely accurate translation. I know this is a comedy, but only about 20% of the jokes even come close to landing.
な、お前の顔はね、だいたいね、アイドルっていうよりハンドルっつう感じだから。
Just smile and nod. After a few more jokes, or at least I think they're jokes, we see our third festival planner and his wife head home for the night, walking romantically by the bay. Only to be attacked by bonefish! Or, well, I should say, even though they look exactly like the bonefish of the last movie, they don't call them bonefish in this movie. They call them devilfish. Sounds a lot less intimidating in my opinion. Sounds like they're made of chocolate or something. Oh well, nothing they can do much about this now. Best to brighten up the mood with a little comedy routine.
これは自慢じゃねえけどさ、もう30の前からおっかから豚野郎って言う。
I think. I mean, everyone in the audience is laughing at something. At the very least, they had the foresight this time to not put the camera directly behind someone's head. But this random comedian is in fact very important. You see, he is the son of one of the poor souls who manned the battleship Yamato. See, this is a sequel, and we give a quick little recap about that movie, The Bonefish. And of course, the fearsome battle with Reigo, king of the sea monsters. So they're a bit worried about the murder by the waterfront having something to do with the monster's return, but they're probably fine. Damn it! Turns out Reigo was hiding where no one thinks to look. Just out of frame. I really don't have to say anything, do I? Thus, Ryga attacks, smashing the buildings, and making up for time lost on poorly translated comedy. But wait, it's no longer rush hour, and that means the Defense Force can send in the tanks.
はい。怪獣の周辺を戦車大隊の砲火で囲む。我が防衛隊の秘密兵器神風で。
Just saying it now, that's not what it sounds like. And if kamikaze doesn't work, they still have missiles and cluster bombs, so the monster is as good as dead.
クラスター爆弾は国際世論的にも問題があるのでは。
持っているものを使わんで放棄できるか。
Damn, this guy's mindset is full-on EDF Inferno difficulty. Yeah, we're bringing Spritefall down on our own men. They'll be happy that they gave their lives to better aim our satellite laser.
いざとなるわ。アメリカが擁護するでしょ。
Well, you have my enthusiastic support. With that, the Defense Force heads into battle. First things first, the tank battalion closes in. Firing away, they mildly annoy Ryga, who then retaliates with a super powerful red lightning bolt that tears through the tanks, blowing them the fuck up. Oh, but that's right, we have our human characters to worry about. Hajime and friends. He's got, other obligations, so he instructs his daughters to go run off to the Tower Hotel, while he himself has a particular shrine to visit. Anyway, back with the fight. It turns out their secret weapon, kamikaze, is a tank. A really big tank, whose special attack is a really, really big tank cannon. Unfortunately, though, Ryga keeps performing a perfect dodge every time they shoot. Damn. I guess the monsters seemed like a pushover last time because they skipped over the tank stage. These things are about as effective as novelty fireworks. But what about Hajime's shrine visit? Well, he just so happens to meet up with Matsumi, a woman. They don't say she's his mistress, but it certainly seems that way. But wait! 3 more random girls come from the shadows! Hajime's daughters are holed up at the hotel, so the convenient classmates that we just established right now have arrived to berate Hajime for choosing to be with some woman instead of his family at such a time as a giant monster attack. So long, Matsumi. Gotta leave you here and never see you again for the rest of the movie. Besides, we have a giant monster attack to get back to.
ねえ、お父ちゃん、浅草あんなに燃えちゃってるよ。
I've seen worse. I mean, it's bad and all, but it's not like the thing broke the moon or something.
嘘つきだなんて。ねえねえ、こんな時さ、ウルトラマンがいたらいいよね。
Raiga, I have come to critique you. Your city stomping is merely average, and your special effects less so. Unfortunately for them, no superhero comes to save the day. Just the Defense Force sending in even more super weapons with a stealth fighter jet. Ryga is attacked from the air this time, bombarded with Vulcan cannons and missiles, and once it's knocked prone, they unleash the cluster bomb. But this is the big climactic battle. You can't have the army actually win here. as another monster has entered the fray and fries the poor Air Force like a bug zapper. Damn thing's electrical aura is OP as hell. It's at this point that the Defense Force realizes that there's nothing they can do, least of all against two monsters. Besides,
あの大きいのは傷ついた仲間を助けに来たんでしょう。このまま海に返してやりましょう。
what's with all the fighting? Do we have to face everything we do with violence? Give peace a chance. Only problem with this is that, hey, they may both be Ryga, but they are most certainly not friends. This is a battle over territory. Yellow Ryga blasts Red Ryga with their lightning, but Red Ryga retaliates. The force of their lightning breath shakes the whole city and... oh fuck, they destroyed the whole movie! But the battle is not over. The city lays in ruins, in flames, and in dispute. So... one of them just, marks their territory. Hey, are they radioactive? We can power turbines with that stuff. Oh, that just makes me think of Baragon on a whole different level.
あの怪獣浅草に住むのかな
I usually don't spend the time to label things as your property when you're planning on moving out in 2 weeks. With the city wrecked and stinking of urine, the monster wanders off into the horizon. Therefore, ending! The place is completely destroyed, but the humans have survived and need to establish a moral to the story.
それはさ、地球が暖かくなって氷河が溶けて、それ地球が危ねえってことを教えに来てくれたんだよ。
Really? We didn't even stop in the middle of the movie to talk about the melting ice caps or the acid rain or anything. Okay, it's a skull. All right, Raiga says to switch to green energy now, or else. But the point is, they're still here, and they will hold a festival in honor of those lives lost, and everything can be happy again. The end. It's kind of abrupt and overly upbeat. Considering all we saw on the way here, I guess that really shouldn't surprise anyone. Anyway, that was Ryga, God of the Monsters. It's a marked improvement. Reigo was an ambitious movie for sure, but because of the extremely low budget and production challenges, it came off as unintentionally humorous. Ryga, on the other hand, very clearly leans into the humor and is written as a comedy from the start. Which actually might not have been as necessary considering the special effects on display are quite a lot higher quality than what we saw in Reigo. Not mind-blowing by any stretch of the imagination, but the suit actor did a good job. The city stomping looked like a model city being stomped, but that's what the genre looked like in the 80s anyway, and the CGI was also much better. Again, nothing supremely impressive, but compared to the previous film, the computer animations are at the very least fluid and match well with the quality of the rest of the special effects on display. Nothing astonishing, but nothing terribly amateurish either. As a comedy, though, that means a lot of the enjoyment of the movie comes down to the writing, and, well, I can't really speak for the quality of the writing because I don't know Japanese, and it seems to me that knowing the language would be a big help here. I know not all humor translates between cultures, but there are so many parts in this movie where I know it's supposed to be funny. The pacing and delivery screams, "This is a joke!" But the subtitles deliver something that I can barely even describe as being an attempt at comedy. This is of course no fault of the movie itself, as there are quite a few jokes that do land despite this problem, but as I said, I think knowing Japanese would be very, very useful in actually being able to understand the humor in this film. Despite all this, though, it is pretty clear that the pacing and overall quality of the film is on the lower end in motion pictures. Being a comedy certainly helps it be enjoyable, but we're still looking at all over the place acting quality, intentional overacting, spotty effects, and a story that doesn't really try to be deep, just fun. Coming in at 2 beautiful rainbows of happiness out of 5. After Reigo, I really wasn't expecting much, but after Ryga, I'm actually now looking forward to the third film in the series that's about to come out. Thank you all for watching. I've been Shado, And remember, we all have to work together and do our part to cut carbon emissions, or giant fucking monsters will kill us all!
Ronaldo!
Raga King.
I'm loving it!